we run a survey that's called the Risks That Matter survey, and that shows that more than 50% of young people in OECD countries have suffered work-related disruption. So they may have lost their jobs, they may have seen wage cuts, and things like that. And that share is much higher than in any other age group. So it seems like young people have been most affected by work-related disruptions in the OECD. And that is, as Jan said in the beginning, because they're overrepresented in the industries that were most affected by the crisis, so hospitality, restaurants, retail. And it's also because they're more likely to be on temporary contracts, more than twice as likely as older people in OECD economies. So you asked me about the lessons learned. I'm going to give you an economist answer, which might be slightly annoying. I think it's a little bit too early to actually assess the response to the crisis in full. But what we do know is that the response to the last crisis was not adequate. Yeah? We know that it took a decade to get youth unemployment back to pre-2008 levels, and I think there were lessons from that. And I think, as the Commissioner has also said, that has been taken on board by the Commission, by members of European member states and also OECD member states, and the goal of those countries was to react early and to prevent scarring and to take bold measures. So this time we've really seen an incredibly fast response. So, for example, 2/3 of countries in the OECD have introduced emergency support measures, so they have supported the incomes of young people, which is not obvious because in many OECD economies, young people are excluded from income support measures because they haven't worked long enough. They may not be eligible for unemployment benefit. And 2/3 of countries have intervened there and offered additional support, expanded eligibility rules, things like that. Young people have also benefited from job retention schemes. So, a lot of countries have implemented short-time working schemes. They have supported income in the crisis, and actually young people